the program will now move in a different direction, and I request Rotarian Biswajit Ghosh, who is the COO of the RILM and RIHF, to talk about how we can work with collaborations to especially work on the mangroves through collaborations with organizations and collaborations with institutions. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Our first presentation today will be done by the Bandhan Bank Group. I'm very pleased to advise that, Bandhan Bank Group, represented by Bandhan Konnagar, their CSR foundation, is going to collaborate with Rotary India Humanity Foundation and the Friends of Environment to undertake a major mangrove project. It's in the works. We hope to sign MOU very soon. Today, we will be presenting Mr. Shantamay Chatterjee, Vice President Shantamay. Just as a background to this, Bandhan Konnagar, they run CSR projects in 13 states, touching 25 lakh people annually. And they have their flagship program on environment, which is called the Coastal Belt Mangrove Rejuvenation Project, as part of their climate action program. And that's the area that they are very keen to partner with us once they heard about what we are wanting to do. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Today is the era of partnerships and collaboration. And I'm glad that, a strong player like Bandhan Bank. Mr. Shantamay Chatterjee, welcome to the program.
Thanks for this wonderful opportunity to allow us to be present here, and I've been here and saw the wonderful event going on. Some very interesting opportunities being discussed. Sincere thanks to the entire group.
Right. So, Mr. Shantamay Chatterjee, our next speaker, Vice President, he leads operations and strategic management for Bandhan Konnagar. He has 25 years of experience with Government of India organizations, Asia Development Bank, UNDP, etc. Worked very strongly in natural resource management, agriculture and livelihood. So over to you, Mr. Shantamay Chatterjee. Thank you.
Sure. So what I would start doing is kind of start discussing the sort of proposition and the discussions we have been having with Vishwavitya for last 2-3 weeks. And I'd just like to take you over to what we started off is last year, as we know, and in the last 3 years, in fact, there have been a lot of...
Your screen sharing is on. You can start it now.
Sure.
Because we've lost time.
So, the basic parlance for our discussion and everything has been that, climate change is not something that is happening for the last 10 years or 50 years. It's basically the life on Earth has been possible because the globe has been changing. But it's an industrial revolution, and post it, the too much heat and consumption of natural resources, which has actually thrown us out of balance. And just last year, there has been a tremendous data that has come out on what has been the effect of climate change and the vulnerability of districts in India by the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. And if you see the districts which are the deep reds are ones which face the maximum threat of too much flood, cloudburst, and a lot of other issues. And almost 80% of India's population is now exposed to high. Please look at the word high hydromet disasters like floods or rain or cyclones. And 17 out of 20 people are in India, kind of prone to face any of these high disasters. And if we look at what the effects has been, then we would see that these disasters have led to tremendous economic loss. And, this is what made Bandhan Group, Bandhan Konnagar, which is the not-for-profit organization that has been operating and finally evolved into the Bandhan Bank. And we started thinking about that, okay, let's work in a more constructive way towards addressing some of these climate risks or impacts. And that is how the BCAP program, that is the Bandhan Climate Action Program, was started this year. And we had just two small objectives, reduce the greenhouse gas effect and also create community action to develop more resilient communities to climate change. So the rationale behind our project was that we started mapping out what is the current mangrove coverage that we have, and we plotted all the 10 states with the data from the Forest Ministry. And what we found that, of course, being located in Kolkata, we thought about starting off with West Bengal and Orissa under our BCAP program, which is funded by Bandhan Bank Limited and Bandhan Financial Services Limited. And what we are looking at is working with EMR methodology, and we kind of take a staggered approach to end up by 2028 with 300,000 mangroves being planted in the most vulnerable and depleted areas. And what is our approach is basically when we are looking at the ecological mangrove rehabilitation and restoration, we'll be using the community being at the forefront is because some efforts that we have already done in recent times in the last 4-5 months at plantations is that if the community is not aware and kind of taking the approach, the fencing and all that we do, first of all, has to be funded. Secondly, is the upkeep of the trees and the prevention and protection of the trees is not being ensured. So our target was to look at why mangroves are being depleted. We made some studies, visited the areas, and we found that the encroachment of land for productivity and for other purposes, including human habitat, is the major cause for destruction of the mangrove beds. And hence, we decided to ensure EMR with a community action group in all these areas. So the program scope we are looking at is kind of addressing the belts which has been drastically affected and have got reduced mangrove positioning right now in West Bengal. There are 3 districts we are looking at. 2 districts in the Sundarban area, that is North 24 Parganas and South 24 Parganas, and East Medipur, which had mangrove belts on the estuarine creeks. We are looking at it. And our strategy is very simple: create community action groups comprising mostly of unemployed youths and women. And we will be promoting EMR, but we will be doing it in a partnership approach with Forest Department, the Gram Panchayats, and of course the local community action groups. We'll be looking at creating alternative and sustainable livelihood opportunities, small projects with which we are already working for the last 15 years. So there, we're looking at a wide range of options, but when we'll be actually doing it, we'll be taking up in terms of strict assessment of the market and skills already existing with people, and thus getting into honey manufacturing, then seaweed cultivation, cashew farming, etc. And definitely we'll be creating a lot of support through civil society, industries, particularly tourism, small MSMEs in the area which are forest dependent or in some way or the other influence the forestation and the mangrove. So this is kind of the overall strategy. We see some risks, obviously, with cyclones particularly, and the high tidal waves, and of course, salinity increasing. So we'll be doing a species-to-species mapping to see what suits where. And the key outcomes we are looking at is extension of mangrove coverage, as I already shared, 300,000. The minimum target that would be, we try to do more, of course, and 10 community actions which would be sustainably in charge of the mangrove forestation, planting, planning, etc., and the protection and also promotion of the idea in the community level. Stakeholders, including government, panchayats, they would be taking up PMR. There has been a positive step already taken by West Bengal government, and we plan to accelerate and also leverage on that for the extension in the profits.
Thank you, sir. I think you have made a point. You have made a point and you have given us this, and we do look forward to working with you as Rotary. Our world president is here. He's from Calcutta. He's very passionate about the work that has to be done for mangroves. You are very passionate. I must tell you that all the government officials who work there, they are very passionate. So we have a very beautiful system where we all can work together. So we look forward to that, and we Rotarians even put money where our mouth is. So we're going to do that along with you, and we'll make sure that we make a very good project which helps the community, because that is actually helping each one of us individually in this world. Thank you so much for your presentation for that. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you, and Biswajit is going to be in touch with you in that matter. Thank you.